Less. Mean. Never. I just did something. I see you. I lied. I don't want to hear your s. I don't want to hear. It's all over between us, Les. How sorry I am. Word. Just got into the car. She sat on the steps and when he drove away. That your second chaff doesn't chat and listen to the next story than compared to the next one. Don't even think about listening. She was home by 9:30 p.m. On Thursdays, she was always home by this time, sometimes a little earlier. You couldn't be too careful. When he returned home from a lodge meeting, it was always 10:15 p.m. It was possible to set the clock using it. Her father got him into this, and he only did it to please both of them, but after joining, he discovered that he liked the civil service aspect of it. He was so good at organizing charity and community events that he was nominated and elected to the Board of Governors. As chairman of the scholarship committee, he worked long and hard to gain support and raise money for the project. Thanks to his efforts, they were able to fund 2 scholarships per year for deserving young people at community colleges. She made sure she was clean and presentable when he came home. Sometimes she went to bed, but more often she waited for him, and they talked about the day, how the scholarship fund was going, about the usual things that married people talk about before going to bed. Sometimes they made love, but usually they just cuddled until they fell asleep. The first glimpse that something might be wrong came when she moved into the driveway. She couldn't get into the garage. His car was parked at an angle, blocking both doors. A feeling of anxiety came over her as she got out of the car. He had spoken to her just a few minutes ago, and she had told him that she was at home. Damn, she loved this house. A firm believer in apartment living, she allowed him to talk her into the house when her lease came to an end. It was a fairly new 3-bedroom house set on a small lot. The main advantage was the porch, which completely surrounded the house. There was a swing set under the ceiling fans in front. They often sat under them, swaying slightly, enjoying the warm summer evenings. She was smart enough to understand what he was up to. It was a family home. In her mind's eye, she could even imagine a swing and a children's pool in the enclosed backyard. One of the happiest moments of her life up to this point happened last month when they were planting a new flower bed. To get his attention, she threw some soil at him. "Hey, you." "Hello to you, too. Did I miss something?" "No. I just needed to tell you that I'm ready." "No, I'm not ready. We haven't applied fertilizer or lime yet. We have to mix them before planting." "Not ready in that sense. I'm ready to have a baby." It's a good thing the flower beds are soft, she thought, when he rushed at her and hugged her to him. The lovemaking that followed was slow, gentle, more like an exchange of souls rather than bodily fluids. She had never felt so loved. The most amazing thing was the tears he shed. He was always so calm, so controlled. She walked out onto the porch and headed towards the front door, trying to walk as quietly as possible. "Hello, Les." She jumped. He was sitting in a swing. The porch light wasn't on, and she didn't notice it. "Oh my God, Kenny, you scared me. Let's go into the house." "No, sit next to me for a while. Let's enjoy the breeze for a few minutes." He patted the spot next to him on the swing. "Where have you been? You said you were here, but you weren't there when I got home." She shifted uncomfortably on the swing. "Oh, I didn't want to sleep. I remembered that I was almost out of gas and didn't want to try to fill up in the morning, so I went to the gas station on the corner. There was only a quarter of a tank in the car, and she hoped he wouldn't check." He reached out and took her hand. "Seriously? I could have sworn you just got back from the Hideaway Motel on 5th. Number 69. Funny, right? This is the same number, isn't it? Jerry is quite superstitious about such things. Isn't that where you usually meet every Thursday from 18:30 to 21? She gasped and tried to pull her hand away, but he grabbed her tightly and wouldn't let go. "Relax, Les. I'm not going to hurt you, but I want you to promise to listen without interrupting. I promise that when we're done, it'll be your turn to talk and mine to listen. Will you do this for me? Fine. She hunched over, curled up into a ball, and sobbed loudly. He continued speaking in a quiet, toneless voice. When I first learned about this, I refused to believe it. One of your friends saw you. No, I don't know which one. She sent me a letter from a public account. At first I ignored him, but the seed was sown, and it grew, creeping into the crevices of my brain until I finally had to get rid of it by refuting it. Then I checked. I asked a friend to look after the house for me. Do you have any idea how humiliating it is to ask someone to do this? Especially if he is a friend to both of us. This favor may have ended my friendship with him. It was terrifying to watch him struggle with his emotions as he laid out the case to me. He even had pictures of you and Jerry going in and out of the motel room, including kissing hello and goodbye. Luckily for us, he doesn't know who this person was. Now he tries to avoid me. I think the pain he saw on my face that day is what he sees now, every time he looks at me. Small sobs escaped her lips. She tried to speak, but he gently placed his fingers on her lips. Hush. You promised to listen first. He pressed his fingers to her lips until he felt a slight nod. Fine. I'll try not to delay too long. The porch light was off. The only illumination of the stage was the light penetrating through the living room curtains. Although he continued to speak in a calm, even tone, his face was a mask of pain and suffering. But in the darkness, she could not see it. When he showed me the photos, I swear the sound of my heart breaking nearly deafened me. Literally, my ears were ringing. But after thinking about it, I felt like I should know why. Why would you two do this to us? For the first time in all his time, his calm was broken, and a shuddering sob escaped. He breathed deeply for a minute, fighting for control of himself. Your own sister, Leslie, how could you? When your mother died, she took you in and practically raised you. You should know that at 15, the last thing she would want is to be responsible for a 9-year-old child. But she did it. I missed dates, dances, school events to be near you. Your dad told me that 1 year's money was so tight that she gave up Christmas so you could have something under the tree. She loved you more like a daughter than a sister. You know she'll find out eventually. Even if she deserves the truth, I will never tell her. I love her too much to hurt her like that. Maybe she can forgive Jerry. She's the best woman I know. But to forgive you less, I don't know if her heart is that big. Tears rolled down her cheeks, gaining speed and volume as she realized for the first time the consequences of her actions. She remembered feeling the elation and self-satisfaction of having a secret, of getting away with something. Now it seemed so childish to her. Her mind was already searching for ways to fix the situation, desperately hoping that she could make things right. How could she be so stupid? But deep down, she knew that he loved her so much that he would forgive her anything. It was her anchor, her rationalization, that even if she was caught, he would never leave her. For the first time, doubts crept into her soul. I should have known, Les. Why? It was consuming me. That's why I put a bug in your purse. Remember that cute little flashlight I bought for you? It was also a voice-activated voice recorder. It's amazing what you can find online these days. Do you know what struck me? There was no spark between you. It was like, we're here, let's just have sex so we can go home to our families. Once he even called it a quick bite, and you giggled and agreed. If it meant so little to both of you, why did you do it? Oddly enough, it gave me hope. If it meant so little, then perhaps it would all end soon. If that happened, I would take my knowledge of your affair to my grave. I had a plan. I was going to change my habits, make it difficult for you to continue your meetings. I thought that if it meant so little, and I made it difficult for you to meet, dropped enough hints to scare you, you two would just give up. I even removed the recorder from your purse. But then I did something stupid. I listened to it. Do you want to know why I cried when you said you were ready to have our baby? It was because of this, and for me, This meant that your romance had run its course. He stopped and was silent for a while. He took her hand and rocked her a little, shushing her when she tried to say something and reminding her that she would have a chance later. After a while, he started again. Then I listened to this damn tape. This was your undoing, Les. I heard you tell him that this was the last time. When he said forever, I swear I heard angels, but these were demons, gnashing their teeth with glee. If you don't remember your answer, I still have the film. He pressed a button on the tape and she heard her world collapse at her own words. Of course not, Jerry. Just long enough to get pregnant. I love him and I want to make sure it's his baby. 2 weeks after the doctor confirms I'm pregnant, you'll be back in the saddle. We might have to date more often. All my friends say pregnancy is a constant turn-on. Just be glad Kenny will be there to take charge. Even in the darkness, Kenny noticed how pale her face had become. Rapid, shallow breathing indicated the onset of hyperventilation. He waited for her breathing to return to normal. You have no idea what was going on in my heedless. Terrible things, so vicious and vile that I am ashamed that they came into my head. I was going to destroy you, maybe kill Jerry. A slow, miserable, painful death. Finally, I calmed down and thought about everything rationally. I've been wondering what to do for the past 2 weeks. It took me a while, but I came up with the perfect revenge. I bet you're dying to know, aren't you, Les? She was terrified. Well, honey, here it is. It was so simple that I don't know why it didn't occur to me before. You won't be able to love me anymore. It will never be Kenny and Les again. From now on, it's just Kenny, just Leslie. We are no longer one. We will never have children. The 2 girls I wanted because I thought there should be more like you in the world will never exist. A little boy with your grace and my height? It will never exist. We will never go to LeMay's classes together, technique for preparing for childbirth. I will never rub lotion on your belly to reduce stretch marks. I will never hold your hand and cut your umbilical cord in the delivery room. Child who? Illnesses, seeing off kindergarten, high school graduation, college. This will never happen. No talking about the birds and the bees, no celebrating sports victories or consoling for defeats, no driving lessons, no loss of sleep when they first start dating, no grandchildren. When your hands shake so much that you can't cut your golden anniversary cake, I won't help you hold on. You will never grieve for me, and I for you, when one of us finally leaves. This house that we both love so much? I refused the offer to purchase. We will never own it together. He will never keep memories of us. Finally, tears came to his eyes. You killed us, Les, as surely as if you had put a gun to our heads and pulled the trigger. I've thought about this a lot. I'm tired of thinking, tired of crying, tired of feeling lost and alone. There must be a good woman who is looking for a guy whose only talent is to love her to the end, knowing that his love and trust will never be betrayed. Not next week, not next month, but soon, Les. Soon I'll start looking. She must be here somewhere. He let go of her hand and stood up, absent-mindedly dusting his trousers. I'm leaving, Les. I already took what I wanted. It was very little. I wanted nothing to remind me of you. I didn't take a single photo of you or us together. I have enough mental images to last me the rest of my life. He reached the end of the porch and turned around. I hope you find someone, Les. Remember this when you find it. I'm not going to leave town or change jobs, so we'll see each other from time to time. Please don't put us in an awkward position by trying to talk. I'll leave, quietly if I can, loudly and rudely if I have to. One more thing and I'll leave. It's up to you to decide what to tell your family. You started this mess. Handle it however you want. Just don't make me the bad guy. Just say it didn't work out, and I'll support you. Oh, I forgot. One more thing. Tell Jerry to stay away from me. If I'm in a bar, restaurant, or any other public place and he sees me, let him leave. I would never physically harm you. But he doesn't deserve anything, and honestly, I don't even know if I want to control my anger. He was about to get into the car when the shock began to wear off. Running up to him, she grabbed his hand. Wait. Please wait. You said I could talk when you finished. Please sit back down. Let me explain. Beg, if necessary. I swear I'll never touch another again. He carefully